Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Cases, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Welcome in It's another edition of the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeping us on the air as he does 5 days a week, talking nothing but Boston sports. That's what we're going to continue to do today. We're going to talk about the Bruins, the trade chips. Everyone's like, the Bruins got to make some trades. I've been saying that. They got to make some trades. Who can they actually trade? Who is somebody that these teams actually want? We'll take a look at that. We'll have a little fun segment, second one, with Pete Souza, Zach Burke as well. We're going to talk announcer calls. We're just going to get real nerdy with some of our favorite announcer calls. And then we're going to talk about the team that is helping out the Red Sox like no other. The downfall of this mighty Yankees team has been hilarious so far, and it's probably only going to get worse when you look and see at what's on the horizon for them. So all that and more coming up on this episode of the Cam Show. But we start where we start. Certainly you saw the thumbnail. That's why you're here watching live on YouTube or finding us wherever you find your podcasts. We're live on YouTube every weekday at noon. Then we get the segments going out on YouTube. So check that out if you're new to the channel. Get involved in the comment section, like and subscribe. You would have seen that we're talking about the Bruins' top 5 trade chips. I've been talking about it all summer. The Bruins got to make some deals. Okay, I'm not saying they're going to go out and make this big splash hockey trade, Huberdeau for Matthew Tkachuk kind of deal. They're not going to do that. But with the cap situation they're in, with how bad they're going to be, whether they keep these guys or don't, it does make sense that they would go out and make some more trades, kind of like what they started at the trade deadline this past year. So after that fire sale, what is actually left for the Bruins? Let's talk about it. Here are the top 5 Bruins trade chips for the 2025-26 season. Now, I went over these with the idea of, okay, they need to have value and guys that the Bruins are actually going to want to move on from, right? In some capacity. Okay, David Pastrnak is not going to be on this list. He is the most valuable. Then again, there's someone who you might want to be number 1. You want to be traded so bad, but they've got a bad cap hit. They're a little bit lower on the list than you might have hoped. So without any further ado, the top 5 Boston Bruins trade chips for 2025-2026. Number 5, Matthew Poitras. Now, I've talked about this summer. It's not necessarily one I want to see happen, but Matthew Poitras is a legit trade chip for this Bruins team, depending on, what they can get in return, of course, and what direction they're looking to go. Has gotten a sniff of the NHL. Okay, 66 NHL games at this point, 26 points, 6 goals, 20 assists, 1 goal in 33 NHL games last year. It certainly looked like a bit of a step back for Poitras, battling a bit of an injury, coming off the injury in 2023-24 when he looked to have a pretty promising start to the season. Still very young, 22, small cap hit, $870,000, and importantly, is a restricted free agent after this season, in which he will still be 22. Obviously, the Bruins want to keep him. I want the Bruins to keep him. I think he's a piece of this Bruins future, but when you're looking in the situation that the Bruins are in and you're just trying to get in talent and future any way that you can, if Matthew Poitras doesn't project to be a top 6 guy for you, a top 2 center on your team and you're in your top 6 of forwards, then maybe you just see what you can get for him. Any kind of ambitious trade the Bruins want to make in the next couple of months will probably include someone like Matthew Poitras. It would include someone like Mason Lohrei, who I did not put on this list, spoiler alert, because I just don't think there's any way that they're trading him at this point with how much investment they've put into him in terms of time and being on the NHL roster all of last year. Matthew Poitras, on the other hand, another guy that was up and down. I still don't know how much they trust him to play in the NHL this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts the season in the AHL, which I don't think will be good, but I wouldn't be stunned if the Bruins do it. Of course, the big questions for him, is he big enough? Has there been too much pressure on him to learn so much so quickly for a guy who's not a top 10 pick or anything like that? Matthew Poitras comes in at number 5. At number 4 for the Bruins trade chips, someone who I think a lot of Bruins fans would hope would be number 1, Joonas Korpisalo. Obviously, he is the one that I think Bruins fans would be okay with trading the most. Okay. He's a backup goaltender, not a very good one. Had one of the worst years of his career last year, coming off what was probably the worst year of his career the year before in Ottawa, where he was arguably the worst goaltender in the entire NHL, got a big contract and was traded just a year after signing it. This has just been bad from the start. I almost feel bad for Korpisalo. He comes in, he's traded for a Vezina trophy winning goalie who was a huge fan favorite in Linus Ullmark. And as soon as he comes in, he's almost thrust into starter mode because the starting goaltender is holding out through the beginning of the season, basically. Would love for him to be the number one trade chip on this list, but that cap hit just sucks. Even with Ottawa taking some of it, it's still a $3 million cap hit. It's $3 million owed for the next 3 years before he becomes a UFA at age 33. 3 more seasons of Joonas Korpisalo at $3 million on your books to be a backup. It just sucks. It's got to be one of the worst contracts in the league. Obviously not a huge money hit at $3 million, but for a bad backup goalie, when you have a good goalie in your AHL team, one who literally won the Vezina of the AHL, and you just extended him, it's just going to feel real pointless to have Joonas Korpisalo on your NHL roster, taking up $3 million of a cap hit and playing less than 30 games a year. Just doesn't make much sense. 27 games last year, second lowest number of his career since he kind of broke into the league as a real starter. 893 save percentage and a minus 4.6 goal save above average. Just horrible. Again, you feel for the guy, and most of the attention went on Swayman because of the money he was being paid and him not having a good year either. But this is not even close to a goalie tandem, which the Bruins have done so well over the last decade and a half. You know, you talk about Tim Thomas and Tuukka Rask, Tuukka and a couple other guys. And then, of course, Ullmark and Swayman. And you trade Ullmark for a guy in Korpisalo who has yet another year, 4 of the last 5, where he's under a 900 save percentage, a thing that Linus Ullmark has never done in his career, which is dip below 900. The problem with Korpisalo and why he's number 4, again, is you're going to have to tack on a pick or a good player in a deal with Joonas Korpisalo. There's a goalie market out there, which I will get to in a little bit, but Joonas Korpisalo is not part of it. Nobody wants this guy. Why would you? He's a backup. He's owed too much money. It just doesn't make much sense. But of course, if you're looking for things that the Bruins need to offload, Joonas Korpisalo and his contract is right at the very top of the list. He's number 4 on this list because I don't think anybody wants him. Number 3, speaking of guys nobody wants, number 3 Bruins trade chip for this year, Casey Mittelstadt. I don't know if the Bruins ever wanted Casey Mittelstadt in the first place, if we're being totally honest. I imagine they went to Colorado looking at Will Zellers for the Charlie Coyle trade, maybe another prospect in there. And they said, sure, we'll give you Will Zellers, but you've got to take Casey Mittelstadt. And they said, shit, I guess we got to do it. Did not do much to impress with the Bruins. That's kind of the story of his whole career. He was a top 10 pick in 2017, I think 8th overall by Buffalo. And he's the only guy who looked like he was going to be a star in Buffalo, left Buffalo, and didn't become a star. Everybody else does it, right? Reinhart, O'Reilly, Ullmark, go up and down the list. Casey Mittelstadt's the only one that doesn't do it. He's the only one that's left and has not become a star after that. And he's owed a lot of money. $5.75 million cap hit over the next 2 seasons. He becomes a UFA after next season, 2027. 15 goals and 40 points in 81 games last year for a guy who was taken in the top 10. And he actually did basically put up that same stat line in his career with the Avalanche as he was dealt last trade deadline. 81 career games for Colorado and 15 goals. For Colorado, one of the most free-flowing teams in the league, man. Look at the superstar power they have on that team. And Casey Mittelstadt could not find the back of the net playing for them. Couldn't do it for the Bruins either. 4 goals in 18 games since coming over to Boston in the trade deadline. And just a failed prospect, man. Just a failed prospect. And I think we're probably past the, we can fix him phase with any team, even though he's still only 26. He's going to turn 27 in this season. He's still only 26, but I think teams are past the whole we can fix him kind of thing. Maybe there's a good team out there that thinks they can do it. A team with a good culture and good guys in the locker room and a good coach. But I think Colorado would check a lot of those boxes as well. I know Nathan MacKinnon can be pretty tough to play with, but it seems like other guys have found their stride in Colorado, and that's a pretty good organization, good team. So maybe you can get that. But honestly, he's just a warm body out there, right? He doesn't put the puck in the net. He's not really a power play guy anymore. Doesn't do much defensively. Nothing physically. Doesn't kill penalties. He's just out there getting cardio, filling up a uniform. And that's why I think he probably will play for the Bruins this year because, like Korpisalo, you've got to tack on some capital to get rid of Casey Middlestat. And that's just not going to be a position where the Bruins want to be. You're going to suck anyway. You might as well kind of keep him without giving up some of your premium picks. Maybe you can throw him in a deal for a young guy, or maybe you can always pull off a hockey trade and get someone else's damaged goods. And then you're just repeating the process in a couple of months. So maybe there's a good team that wants to fix him, and maybe he's got 15 goals by the trade deadline, and you could do that. But you're probably going to have to tack on something with him, and it's probably going to have to be some sort of a salary dump. Before we get to number 2, which is where things get really interesting, I do want to do some of the honorable mentions, just 2. So real quick, 2 honorable mentions for Bruins trade chips. Andrew Peeke is a really interesting one. Now, he didn't quite make this list just because I don't know what the market is for him right now. But Andrew Peeke, I think, is going to be a lovely trade piece for the Bruins come the trade deadline. He is still a super dependable, stay-at-home, defensive defenseman in the prime of his career, age-wise, at age 27. Very low cap hit at $2.75 million. That expires at the end of the season. The Bruins ended up getting a first-round pick for Brandon Carlo with a year and a half left on his deal. I'm just wondering I don't know if you get a first-round pick for Peeke. Maybe you get someone that's desperate enough for that. But maybe a future down the line first-round pick, a second, maybe a decent player. I think there's so many options when it comes to Andrew Peeke, but more so at the trade deadline than there is right now. And he's a guy I like on their third pairing. I really do. I don't know exactly what his role is with this year's team, even though he is dependable, and the Bruins need dependable guys. They're clearly going for some puck movers, some physical guys, and that kind of divides the low rise from the Zadorovs. Where does Peeke fit in there? I think he's still dependable. Kind of a poor man's Brandon Carlo, who was struggling the last couple of years anyway. That'll be a very interesting one to look at come March. The other honorable mention that I want to talk about that does get kind of controversial among Bruins fans, I'd say, is Hampus Lindholm, whom I forgot to put a picture in for. So there you go. Hampus Lindholm is a guy who is still a big part of this Bruins team. Don't get me wrong. He's coming off an injury, supposed to be a bounce back year. You kind of never know with an injury that bad for a guy north of 30, but still a good two-way puck-moving defenseman who can quarterback a power play, probably your second power play unit for any team that's interested in him. He's still got a big contract in terms of the term. He's got 5 more years on that contract, including this one. And that cap hit is only at $6.5 million. I say only because he can be a top pairing defenseman on a playoff team or a really, really solid second pairing defenseman on a good playoff team. And I wonder what kind of team that's contending for the cup is looking and thinking, boy, we could use a guy like that. Maybe one of these young up and coming teams that still have some cap space. That's a very team-friendly deal. That cap is only going to go up over the next couple of seasons. That cap hit is going to continue to go down. I look at some of these teams that are young and on the rise and probably ready to contend. Teams like Montreal, probably not giving up Hampus Lindholm to Montreal. Utah, I think, would fit in there. Not the last time we'll talk about Utah in this segment, but I think they will fit in there. And ironically enough, Anaheim, the team they got him from, could be a good fit as a team that's probably ready to make the jump to the postseason. They'll need some help at the deadline. Hampus Lindholm, if you continue to suck and you can get a big-time deal, maybe even for a Mason McTavish, then Hampus Lindholm is a guy I don't think the Bruins would mind parting with because of the value he can bring to a good team. So those are the honorable mentions. Let's hop back into it. The number 2 trade chip piece for the Boston Bruins this year, Jeremy Swayman. Stick with me on this one. Yes, Jeremy Swayman is a trade chip for the Bruins this year. Is it the most likely one? Probably not. But he still ends up high on this list because of the value he can bring. Maybe this is me being naive, but I don't think Jeremy Swayman's going to have a year like he did last year. It was bad. I mean, it was the worst year of his career. .892 save percentage, .311 goals against, led the league in goals against in 58 games. His goal save above average was horrendous compared to what it was the year before. But I think a lot of teams are still going to see him as the all-star that he was in 23-24 and that great postseason that he had through those 2 rounds that the Bruins played in. I think there's still some interest for Jeremy Swayman. Do I think the Bruins trade him? Probably not. And it's a tough thing to do at $8.25 million a year. I fully understand that. Okay. So before you get in the comments about that, which I do want to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section below. Before you get in the comments about it, I fully understand $8.25 million for another 8 years is not an easy thing for another team to take on. But I will say this. There has become a premium on goaltenders in this league again. Okay. And what I mean by that is there are some good teams that are ready to get over the top with a good goalie. Teams like Edmonton, who've lost in the final the last 2 years. Teams like Carolina, who keep losing in the conference finals. Now, those teams are stacked up against it when it comes to the salary cap. So it's probably not them this year. If the Bruins suck again and those situations continue to suck, I could see them making a deal for someone like a Jeremy Swayman, who is entering his prime years, even for a goaltender, and still has all-star caliber quality. And I think he's going to have a bounce back year. A team to keep an eye on in terms of a Jeremy Swayman sweepstakes, the Utah Mammoth. Utah is ready to make the playoffs. They've got a good young core, which means they're going to be good for a while, they think. It also means they're cheap. They've got cap space, okay? Not a ton of it, not 12 million. It's about 6 million right now, and they've got guys they can part with. So in terms of like a mock deal of what this could be, you could see something where Jeremy Swayman goes to Utah and Nick Schmaltz comes to Boston as a part of a package from the Mammoth. Okay. Schmaltz, 28-year-old winger, 20 plus goals and 55 plus points in each of the last 4 seasons, comes in with absolutely something the Bruins need. That is production, and that is production on the wing. Nick Schmaltz fits that on a team-friendly contract. That could be something where you could see a package that includes Jeremy Swayman for a package that includes Nick Schmaltz. Very, very low chance that they trade Sway, but he is absolutely a trade chip for this team. Which brings us to number 1. The number 1 trade chip for the Boston Bruins in 2025, Pavel Zacha. Okay. I think a lot of people underestimate just how valuable Pavel Zacha is. It's a player I like, but also a player with where the Bruins are at right now, I don't mind parting ways with if you can get a real package for him. In terms of the value and the likelihood of him getting traded, there's really no other choice for number 1 than Zacha. He still has terrific value, $4.75 million cap hit for the next 2 seasons, UFA after 2027, guy who's still in those prime years, 27 years old, and has been a legit two-way guy with versatility. He can play center. He can play on the wing. He held his own as a first-line center for this Bruins team. He plays well with David Pastrnak. In his 3 years with Boston, 59, 57, and 47 points, 20-plus goals twice, and a good penalty killer to go along with that. Again, admirable at center, more of a middle 6 winger and a PK kind of guy. Good teams will want a guy like Pavel Zacha. Guy who can play up and down the lineup, kill penalties, 20 goals at that cap hit. Like, no doubt he will be a sexy guy for a lot of teams out there, ones that are already in the postseason. He is a guy who can headline a deal for someone like Jordan Kyrou, for someone like Marco Rossi, even Mason McTavish. These guys that the Bruins have looked at this summer and could absolutely be great fits for them, they actually have a guy who could headline a package for them. He can make a playoff team healthier, sturdier, giving them more versatility and dependability. He's absolutely a great trade chip right now. And if the Bruins are going to make a hockey trade, Pavel Zacha might be really the only one they can do that with, which is ironic because he did come in a hockey trade for Erik Haula. He's not going to be traded for someone like Erik Haula again. He's going to be traded for someone better than that. So Pavel Zacha, I like him. I don't mind if the Bruins keep him. But if you are going to be a bad team again this year, which I think they very well will be, Pavel Zacha fits much better for a contending team than he does for a lottery team. Those are my top 5 trade chips for the Boston Bruins in 2025. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a ton. We are on the march towards 4,000 subscribers, and we need your help in getting there. It's completely free, and we talk nothing but Boston sports 5 days a week, live on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos talking Bruins, talking Red Sox, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Coming up, special fun segment. We're going to bring in Pete Souza. We're going to bring in Zach Burke. We're going to talk about the greatest college football calls in history from a couple of nerds who like talking about that kind of stuff. That's coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
BizChair.com, your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
And now, back to our show.
Back to the show.
Hey, Cam.
Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network.
Hey, I need 1 second to finish getting Pete's clips together. So
because it's my fault. Can you turn him up a little bit? I can just talk to this idiot for a little while.
Okay.
Hey.
Anyway, we've talked Bruins. We're gonna talk Yankee collapse coming up in a few minutes. But first, I got to get Pete in
Do
here.
you guys want to talk about the '86 World Series?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about that.
Little roller up along first.
Yeah,
behind the bag. It gets through Buckner.
We're not going to talk about it.
Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
What the fuck's your problem, man?
I'm sorry. My bad.
The fuck? Pete's Mets, Pete's Yankees. Pete Souza of ESPN, also Rogue Media Sports Network. You can catch him on the Pete Souza Show, which leads right into us. That's 11 a.m. Eastern time every weekday on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Pete.
What up, Cam?
I might need you to gatekeep me here a little bit. I might need you to keep me in line or something. Okay? Because while we get this ready, because we're talking about announcers in this, the Red Sox did an all-female broadcast last night, which whatever. I don't really care, except for the fact that it sucked. It just sucked. And
why are you bringing me on? What
Zach, can you turn Pete up a little bit? Can you turn Pete up a little bit? Maybe I'll just talk. Maybe I'll just talk it out to you.
Yeah, just talk.
Okay.
Let me be your therapist.
Well, like I get it. I understand the concept entirely. Like, fine. I have no problem with it. The problem is it is such virtue signaling by Nesson, the company, because they have to make this an all-female broadcast, all-female studio show and everything with it. They have to pick people from everywhere because Nesson itself does not have a female that does play-by-play, analysis, sideline reporting, or any of the 3 seats in the studio. So they have to call up their AA play-by-play woman. They have to bring in beat writers to do TV stuff, which they don't do. And so it sounds awful. And the play-by-play person doing it last night, who does the Sea Dogs games, it's almost like she was broadcasting from the vet in the room as they were putting her dog down. Like it was like the most depressing thing I've ever fucking heard.
Well, honestly, that's sort of on the Red Sox because
it is. I'm saying it at the end of the day, it is.
Young woman's fault. It's not that young woman's fault. They're taking her and putting her. No, really, it's not. I mean,
she could be a little cheerier, like the game's going on. But you're right in that they just throw them into this game in mid-August because they don't have anybody even close to the everyday product.
Who was the analyst?
Is a woman.
The beat writer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they had a couple other writers on the studio desk. Okay. And I think they brought in someone. Actually, I don't know. I didn't watch the post-game show. I just saw that they had it as all women. It was just like, I get it, but like, then it just becomes a gimmick because there's no women anywhere around this team.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
162 games, dude. They're given. I mean, like
I know. That's where I don't have a problem. That's where I don't have a problem. But if you want this to be a real thing, you don't want it to just be a gimmick, then maybe it's someone that we actually hear on the other broadcasts. But no, we can't do that.
Well, it's not like clearly somebody felt like this young woman was capable. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put this.
Yes,
they wouldn't have put the night together, right?
Yes.
So that was obviously the plan because I've heard of this woman. And
Tiedemann, Emma Tiedemann is her name.
Yeah, I've never listened to her, but I'm sure she does. I'm sure she's great. That's a tough situation. Can I tell you something that happened to me experiential wise with media recently?
Yeah, real quick.
So we had this great segment on Monday where we had on James Francis, former Baylor great, and his old teammate Takeo Spikes came on and surprised him on his birthday, right on our show, which was amazing. And
emotional.
I'm built for this stuff, right? Like I've been doing this for a little while, but like that was a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and I watched it back, and I did a fine job, like moderating it and stuff. But there was a point where I just looked like a klutz, like I was like, "Oh, you over here?" Like I was like really disappointed in myself. I was like literally, Cam. I was like while one of them was talking, and I was like, "Dude, get it."
He's not used to being the alpha, man.
Yeah,
not used to not being the
I'm
alpha.
saying. Like, I was like, man, this is the first time I've ever had something like this happen. The next time it happens, let's just slow it down a little more. And I think that's tough to do your first major league broadcast underneath like the umbrella of that. I think it's quite possibly. You set her up to fail a little bit, and that's kind of a bummer.
Yes, that's a more succinct way of putting it. More way of putting it. It feels like a gimmick, and they set them up to fail. And I
didn't say gimmick. You said.
I think it's a gimmick.
I think it's honestly no bullshit, Cam. I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome. Like, give them a shot. Like, let them do a game. I have no issue.
I agree with giving them a shot. I'm saying let's have if we're really committed to like women in sports, let's have some on the broadcast. Like, let's make them a part of the broadcast somehow. Yeah. And like, I know there's some traditional like, should we stop having good-looking women as the sideline reporters? Is that too like? Then you overthink it. But like it's simple as that. Or someone who's hosting the post-game show. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
It's a visual medium, dude. You'll never be able to convince me otherwise.
It is. And there's actually nothing wrong with that. If man or woman, if they're sexy, if they could do their job, who cares? Anyway, we got to get into this, or else we'll run out of time here.
I have everybody's calls.
Okay. Pete's is like 4 minutes.
Shawn
We're going to do this. Pete Souza of ESPN and the Pete Souza Show, Zach Burke of the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. We're going to start this little thing recurring because we all really like broadcasters, which is a very nerdy thing to do, but we're all in it. So what I wanted to do was find our favorite calls. But when you just say, like, what's your favorite broadcast call, that's so loaded, man. Like, how do I pick one? Different moments, different sports, different leagues, whatever. So we divided it by sport. We're starting with college football. I've asked each of these young men to pick two, myself included, and a brief explainer as to why they like that. We're getting close to college football. I've decided to not pick any from Baylor, my alma mater, as a principal. I think there's just too many. So we're going to go more of a broad college football scope. Who wants to go first?
I don't mind.
Zach Burke wants to go first. Here we go.
I just looking at what we have, I also think I have the oldest one on the list, but that's going to be the one that I save for last.
Older than mine.
Yeah, I think mine's older than yours. So the first one I wanted to get into, and I'll do a little explainer behind it, as I was sitting here racking my brain when you texted us last night, and I can think of calls that obviously like stick with me that are fun for some reason. I still think of Gus Johnson when, Clint Shell from OSU breaks away from the Texas Tech defender, and it's breakaway from the cop speed. But things like that stick with me. It's not my favorite call, but you have stuff like that. But I kept looking up, and I thought, it's got to be Vern Lundquist, and they threw out like the 106 field goal return or the yard field goal return.
Yeah.
I think the radio call is better. Like all of this,
it is
to get into it.
I've heard that too, that the radio call's better.
But it's still a great call. But so it's hard to find that. So I had to focus in and pinpoint on like things that meant something to me. And I am a kid that not only loves broadcasters, but one of the things is I am a big Brad Nessler fan because of how much I played the NCAA football video game series as a kid. Because him and Kirk Herbstreit are all over it. So I have a special place in my heart that probably not a lot of other people have for Brad Nessler, but I will own it all the way through. And the first one I'm going to put out there is one that he had back in 2015 when Ohio State played Alabama.
Ezekiel Elliott, and he's got an opening. Elliott off to the races. Can they catch him? No, they can't. Touchdown.
I love something so simple about a broadcaster of letting the play just do the talking for it, and he didn't need to do anything. He was just, a simple, can they catch him? No, they can't. Like,
well, that's a guy who's seen a lot of football. You see when he says no, they can't. It's like the 10-yard line. There's one guy with an angle, and he's like, nope, not anymore.
And I cut it off, and he just lets the cameramen do their work then of the excitement from the Ohio State fans. I shortened it. It goes to Bama, like these two Bama fans, and they look so distraught. And it's just he just knows how to work it. And so, I went with Brad Nessler and the Ezekiel Elliott call from 2015.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's go to number 2, Zach.
Do you want to do your second one, or do we want to each do one and then go?
No, we'll do my first one.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
Now, this one. This is the Florida one, Zach. So this one, I have to tell you, I still, for whatever reason, walk around wherever I dwell and will say this call out loud. It's just stuck with me, and it's one of the greatest voices ever to call a college football game. So it's really like. It's kind of an outlier, but it's kind of not. All right, Z, play the music.
Ian on first down. Get the same time. Good coverage downfield. He throws for Jackson. He's got it. Oh, no. And Judd Davis.
So
okay, that is like 4 words.
It was just like, he's got it, and it was like Jackson. The way it was just vintage Keith Jackson, and it was, and the reason, sometimes, dude, like the best of the best, like you don't need that much, and like I think that's the best example of that. Like, it's a call, and it certainly had some pop to it, but it's not like overdone. And I think that's classic Keith Jackson. It was perfect.
Just to add to Pete's Keith Jackson bit, because I had an honorable mention for Keith Jackson I almost used, which was Desmond Howard's goodbye,
Heisman?
hello, Heisman.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was one I almost used too. So yeah.
I'm going to make Pete pissed off because I'm going to bring up Keith Jackson's probably worst hour as a broadcaster, which was one of the greatest games ever played, Texas USC, back in January of 06. I before you get on me, Pete, I've always felt bad. Like it was just a little too much for Keith in that game, and you could tell right away. And he had Dan Fouts, who was not a great analyst. And there's a play where Vince Young is running it. So it's Texas's first touchdown of the game. Vince Young is running to the right side and he kind of gets wrapped up. He pitches it out. Everybody can see it on the broadcast. He pitches it out to Selvin Young, who scores a touchdown. And Keith just isn't caught up with it. He just isn't. And he's like, now it's Young off to the right side. And Selvin Young's running into the end zone, and Dan Fouts has to go, he pitched it out, Keith. He's like, he pitched it out. Touchdown, Texas. Like it's just like, I honestly feel bad because he's one of the 5 greatest college football announcers ever.
And that was, I think, roughly his last year, maybe
it was probably his last game.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. At least pretty close to it. All right, my first one. If Pete's beloved fiance Christy is watching whatever he does, this is probably the time to turn it off. I'm throwing it back to the year after that Keith Jackson Rose Bowl call to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
To the right, Boise State for the win. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Can you believe it?
I got the goosebumps. Look at that. Look at that hair standing up.
Yeah.
So
who is that? Ken Rosenthal? It's a Fox. Like,
not Ken Rosenthal. I don't
dude.
think
You don't even know who it is.
No, it's
This is bullshit. You don't even know who the guy is.
Why do I have to know who the guy is?
How do you not know who the guy is?
He's done football forever. Zach, can we get a look up on that?
Yeah.
I think I know who it was. I think I know who it was. You ready? It's Tom Brenneman.
Yeah, that's who it is. That's what I was thinking. I was like the guy who said the.
Well, he's back.
I won't say it.
He's back now. He's back now. He's calling.
He's
games
so
again.
back. He's doing college football again. That's what I thought it was. Tom Brenneman. Yeah.
I think Nick Castellanos struck then too.
Oh,
yes.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yes. So I want to explain something on this, which will come into my other call as well. And I am someone who loves like the excitement building within a call, and I even love a call that is really only good for like a quarter of a second. So the example I would say for that is when the Twins won the 91 World Series and Jack Buck's calling it, and all they needed was a fly ball. And as they hit it in the air, he just goes, the Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it. Like, broadcast school will tell you, don't do that first part. Wait till it happens.
Jack Buck used to always do that, and he got burned a couple times.
Yeah, but I respect that because it's literally what we're all thinking. Like, that's going to be enough. That's going to be it. And you kind of hear it in this call from Thom Brenneman. He does. Because it's crazy. It's the Statue of Liberty. Oh my God. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Like it's incredible. And I had to really try hard to pick that, or focus hard to pick that one over the lateral play, which tied the game, which was fucking unbelievable.
Can I give a little?
Hey, can you believe that?
So a little anecdote, right?
Yeah.
After the game, I read Chris Meyer's book, or I listened to it. That Deserves a Wow. And he did the interview where the guy proposed afterwards.
Ian Johnson.
So the guy is like about to propose, and Chris Meyer's like, you guys got to send it back to the field. This dude's about to propose to his fucking girlfriend. Like, send it back. But he couldn't spoil like what it was on the air. So, because he didn't want to spoil the proposal. So he had to like really tee it up, and it took a minute. Myers said it was super awkward, but then it paid off when the kid actually proposed. But it was kind of like live TV is a mess, but then it worked out great.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
What a game, man. There was a couple in that game that I was going to pick from. We're probably going to roll this to the end. Zach, what do you got for the second one?
Yeah, so my second one, I kind of cheated too. It's technically a radio call. It's technically a radio call.
That's fine. It can be a radio call.
Okay, but
no one said it couldn't be a radio call.
It's for sure the oldest on the list here.
Okay.
I want to take y'all
Was
back.
it exclusively on radio, Zach?
No.
You talking about the Four Horsemen here?
No.
Grantland Rice reading it out.
It's gonna be like.
Although
Fly ball.
I thought about you earlier this week, and I meant to bring it up. I read about the Phillies first that they were cheating using electrical devices back in like 1899 and early 1900s. And
Do they have electricity?
Well, they ran a telegraph wire underneath the third base coach, like onto a board, and it would shock like in his cleats. Yeah. But here's the thing. It affected, Knapp. What's Knapp's last name? Dang
Knapp
it.
last way?
Yeah, and so like they were talking about how it affected his stats, and I was like, the only person I know who would know anything about Knapp Lash would be Cam.
Yeah.
And so I just almost texted you out of that. But
Rhode Islander.
Yeah.
Long fly ball, hit the right field.
I want to take you back
Stuffy McGinty under it.
to 1971.
Oh, it's gone through the fingers of his glove. Oh, boy. You hope they can tie those up someday. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
1971.
1971.
What a year.
And a game between Oklahoma and Nebraska, and a little
Game of
call
the century.
by Lyle Brimser.
In to kick. Wiley stands at his own 24, waits for the snap. Rogers deep for Nebraska. Here's Wiley's kick. It's high. It holds up there. Rogers takes the ball at the 30. He's hit and got away. Back upfield to the 35, to the 40. He's to the 45. He's to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 20, to the 10. He's all the way home. Child did that, put him in the aisles. Johnny the Jet Rogers just tore them loose from their shoes. David, how about that?
All right, what did he say again?
He said, man, woman, and child did that, put him in the aisle. That is always one that I still hang on to.
They must be wearing white
that.
at home. I don't think
really
that's a
good,
road
dude.
game.
Yeah.
No.
And that's
Wow.
a classic. And was that a radio call?
It was a radio call that they put to video over the years, but because
And, hey,
was
the-
the Nebraska radio. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
that was
the
amazing.
he's all the way home part is pretty great.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
All the way home.
Yeah.
Johnny Rogers, man.
Yeah, and he just lets it. I just love that. No, man, woman, and child did that, put him in the aisle. It's just very much like a whoa Nelly or a. It's
Yeah.
college football to me.
Yeah.
Like that is just the craziness and the excitement. Yeah, that's college
Oklahoma,
football in a
Nebraska.
nutshell.
I
Oh,
mean,
exactly.
Game of the century, man.
That doesn't get any better. Yeah.
Game of the century part like 4 out of 10, I think. Yeah. All right, Pete, you've got a second one that looks like a marathon here.
Okay, no,
Is
hold
this-
on. Let me set it up.
You gotta
It's
explain
just-
this.
It's like a minute and a half, but I got to set it up. This is in the 80s, and this is when I started to fall in love with college football. And the reason I fell in love with college football and sports on television was because of sequences like this. This is not a call, although it is probably my all-time favorite play-by-play guy, Brent Musburger, setting up Oklahoma, Miami. And I'm telling you, I was probably 7 or 8, maybe 9 at the time. I wanted to like run through the picture window in my parents' like family room. I was out of my mind. And I think this just shows like how sports literally is theater. It is entertainment. It is like a 3-hour movie. Zach, play the music.
It's hard to believe that these relaxed, smiling young men are the nation's #1 team, the defending national champions, the Sooners of Oklahoma. Miami's Vinny Testaverde breathed through Friday's workout. Looking at his teammates' faces, there was no hint that tomorrow would bring a war between these young men from Oklahoma and Miami. Now it's less than 4 hours from kickoff, and the reality of the day moves into focus. On the Miami players' faces, there is more seriousness. Each Oklahoma player seemed lost in his own thoughts. A year ago, the Sooners had been humbled at home, 27-14. This team remembers. They've waited 1 year. All that's left now is 60 minutes of football. It's the dream of a lifetime. No more words, no more talking. 60 minutes and the issue will be settled. It's number 1 against number 2. Oklahoma versus Miami.
I mean,
the end was great.
I think I might just shit myself. That was so. I mean,
Pretty good.
Except for the asshole that recorded it changing the fucking channel. That was amazing.
Is that the Bye Bye Bosworth game?
Where
the whole crowd singing?
Maybe.
Bye.
Yeah. I think it is. Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Thank you. Speaking of good calls, these have all been good calls. I mean, I would say that's close. Zach thought he was cheating. I think this is the closest to cheating to do an intro, but I enjoyed watching it, so I'm gonna keep Pete unpenalized. Tony Reale can keep his points on the board.
I'm just pumped for the guy who was in Miami, who was sitting in front of a kilo of Coke, snorting it, getting ready to watch that game. So pumped.
And he's like,
let's go.
See, as an audio guy, I loved hearing them try to like loop the parts of like in the air tonight to make it work with what they were talking about. Yeah.
That was like straight out of Miami Vice too, man.
Yes. And how about like the fact that like it is like 1986, 87? Like that is not perfect production by any stretch.
You get the Phil. Yeah, you get the they remember, and then the Phil Collins. I remember. In the background, like they were all for this.
I want to know how
great for local news.
Like, how did that come together? You know what I mean? Like, I would love to hear.
It took a guy months putting that together for sure. Like they circled it. Yeah.
All right, my number 1 here. It's mixing all the things I like. It's a great call. It's great on the spotters board, which I know Pete is going to really appreciate too. I mean, Zach has seen his fair share of spotters boards, put them together. You'll appreciate this as it happens in the moment. It's a crazy actual moment. It's one of the best broadcasters to do it. I still remember watching this live as a freshman at Baylor in my dorm room, and it's still one of like the top one of the top 3 or 4 craziest finishes I've ever seen in any sport, because it just it defies all logic. Let's take you to Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts-Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
And I left it a little bit of padding there at the end because Zach and I look for the same thing. Look at how he lets that breathe. Mainly because he doesn't know what else to say. Like, that is an unfathomable ending. And he gets the special teams player like that. Yeah. Like that. That's like when Al Michaels did the Malcolm Butler interception. Like the 5th cornerback on the team. He had it. Intercepted by Malcolm Butler, lets it breathe. The rookie free agent out of West Alabama. He knew it, man. And Sean McDonough, same thing here. Jalen Watts-Jackson
well, if you can
on
get
the last play of the game.
Well, if you can get Sean McDonough's voice to crack, you've had an amazing moment of football. Yeah, that was epic.
Man. And no color guy like yelling on top of him.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And he lets that breathe for another like 10 seconds because there's just scenes going on. But how about just nailing every part of that, getting more excited as he goes, right? Bad snap, ball's free. Jalen Watts-Jackson scores 0, last play of the game. He has it all right there, right in a row. Maybe this is just the artistes that we are of the broadcast industry, that we really respect that. It also sounds great, man. Me and my friends listen to that about once a month.
That was, and by the way, I think you guys both did a phenomenal job of picking like classic rivalries, like because I'm just watching that again.
Boise State, Oklahoma, yeah.
But I noted Michigan State was 7th at the time in the country, and Michigan was 12th. So that was like a huge turn of events.
Yes, they would have made the playoff that year. They were the 4th seed in the playoff. They beat Iowa in the Big Ten championship. So yeah, that was huge. That was Harbaugh's first year at Michigan.
I was in Monroe, Louisiana, watching that on the only fucking lazy boy, the only piece of furniture I had in my place. I remember that. Yeah.
Did you sleep on that?
Your
too?
voice cracking?
Well, I had a bed. I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
but that
okay.
was all.
So you lie. Yeah. Anyway, anyone want to pick a favorite? Anybody?
I mean, well,
I think Zach's
I think
was
we
the
all
best.
had our favorites.
The
Like, that's-
Nebraska one? The Nebraska
I
one might
think
be my
Zach's was
pick.
the
Yeah.
best. Yeah, because just the authenticity of it and the ultimate rivalry, and I'd never heard that before, so I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
I
No,
like that,
it's-
Zach.
I
I
like
might
it.
agree with that.
It's old school, but it's just college football. It captures the excitement and just the, I don't know, like that
And
is
I'm glad
college
none
football calls like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad none of us did anything like too goofy.
No.
Like the end of that Nebraska call is probably the goofiest, but I don't know. It felt great in the moment, right?
Well, one
Didn't
of
feel
mine that
canned.
I almost picked, but I didn't pick. But I liked Colorado so much in like 1990, 91, like that whole era. And they beat Notre Dame, and Deion Figures had the interception. And Dick Enberg says, intercepted by Figures, and the Figures will be number 1 for Colorado. And I was like, I always thought that was very cool. But,
It's close. It's close to being bad. It's close to being bad, Dick. Stick to oh my, Dick. I don't know.
Did you guys see the awful announcing article that was aggregated? They picked up that Vern Lundquist was on a podcast, and Vern said Jim Nantz made like one of the worst calls of all time, and Vern always breaks his balls about it. It was at the end of the 2004 championship when CBS was going off the air, and Jim Nantz said, Connecticut is a mecca for basketball. And they showed like Emeka Okafor, and Lundquist was like, it almost made me throw up. And I gave Nantz so much shit for that.
That is pure Nantz, though. Like
Yeah.
that is like Nantz is great. He is a fucking hardo. He's great. Before you get into that, Pete, he is a fantastic announcer, but he's such a hardo. Like that makes so much sense. The other one I almost picked too, another Michigan game, was when App State beat him in 2007 and the App State radio call. But there's just too much going on in it, and they block the field goal, and they're like talking about running it back. They're like taking it to the big house and the big house, and he doesn't actually score. So it's kind of lame, but like the excitement the call that you hear is at the very end when the guy's like, the Mountaineers have just beaten the Michigan Wolverines. And he's like screaming, and it's all passion. So I do like that part, but I didn't keep him in there. Anyway, Zach, I think I might need to roll this show a little bit long because in the middle of this, we did get some big time breaking news
No, you're
for
fine.
the Boston
I
Red
just need to
Sox.
step out of it, but it's all you then, sir.
Yeah, I can take us off. So Pete, thank you. Zach, thank you. It's been real. I'll take Pete out of here as well. No, I got him. All right, there we go. Because the Cam show needs to roll on a little bit here because the Red Sox have just made a huge, huge signing. Breaking news on this Wednesday afternoon. They have done it. The Red Sox have locked down the best prospect in baseball. Roman Anthony is signing on for 8 more years at $130 million to stay with the Boston Red Sox. Yes. There was no way this should not have happened. And I am so glad the Red Sox finally put their balls on the table and said, yes, we're going to commit to this guy at real money. Not Christian Campbell money, not Cedar Rafaela money, real money to stay here and be a part of our franchise for the next decade and hopefully more. This kid is the real deal. He is going to be a superstar in this league for years to come. And that beautiful little face of his is going to be the face of this Red Sox franchise. Anything positive they do over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years is going to be because of Roman Anthony. No doubt. And as someone who is old enough to remember them trading Mookie Betts, for those of us who did have to live with the slow dismantling of the greatest Red Sox team there ever was in 2018 and letting Xander Bogaerts walk and trading Chris Sale and then him becoming great again and trading Mookie Betts, trading Rafael Devers, this is a breath of fresh air. This is what we have wanted this whole time. Young, homegrown talent who can be at a future MVP level that is under contract for this team for the very foreseeable future. So what's that? $15 million a year on 8 years? Am I doing that math right? No, I'm not. It's more than that. It's about $18 million. That's a steal, man. That is a bargain. They'll restructure it in 4 years, I'm sure. But this was a huge concern with Roman Anthony being a Scott Boras guy. They have gotten the deal done. Now, Craig Breslow, if you extend Alex Bregman, then we're talking. Then we will forget this lame duck trade deadline we just went through, where you didn't improve this team, even though they're one of the best in baseball. When you didn't make any deals to put them over the top, if you extend Alex Bregman after locking down Roman Anthony, then we're willing to say, okay, maybe we're not a World Series team this year, but we're going to be in the near future. We've got this core locked down. But it starts with Roman Anthony, man. How beautiful is that? How much of a blessing is that, man? Finally, after having to trade Mookie Betts in the prime of his career, after trading Rafael Devers in the middle of his career for nothing, you finally lock down the future face of your franchise. This is Roman Anthony's team. And very soon here, it's probably going to be Roman Anthony's city. The buzz around this kid is unbelievable. I went to the ballpark for the first time this year on Saturday, and I'm telling you, there were 19 shirts and jerseys up everywhere, including on my back, baby. This town was so ready for good baseball again, and they were so ready for Roman Anthony. Well, get ready, because we've got 8 more years of him. Good luck, everybody else. It's going to be Roman Anthony's league, Roman Anthony's world, and the rest of us are just living in it. Boston Red Sox finally actually acting like the goddamn Red Sox. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's how a big market team operates. They have a star, a franchise guy, and they say, you know what? Roman Anthony is a Boston Red Sox. It's about damn time. Roman Anthony, 8 years, $130 million, going to be an absolute bargain. Good luck, everybody else. Good luck, Yankees. Good luck, Toronto, with your run differential. Good luck, Detroit. Good luck, Houston. Roman Anthony doesn't play for you. He's going to be playing for us for the next 8 years. That core is starting to take shape. Anthony, Meyer, Campbell. Yes, Campbell, still. Narvaez, Rafaela, Bayo, Bregman, Crochet. This team is going to be a force to be reckoned with for a long time. And this Roman Anthony extension is just the first brilliant step. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, find us on YouTube and wherever you find your podcast. Check out the other videos here, and we'll have some more reaction throughout the week. But Roman Anthony is a Boston Red Sox for at least 8 more years. Thank the good Lord. And thank you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow on another episode of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit internxt.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Sanes, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit twosains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.